Hey everybody, it's Dan Latto speaking. Hope you're well today. So welcome to the Property Cashflow show. We're going to talk to you about property sourcing, deal packaging, all of that kind of thing. If you've got any questions, stick them in the box down below. If you're watching on YouTube, then welcome. If you're watching the replays, thank you. If you're listening to the podcast, that are all available on iTunes. You can download every single episode on iTunes, up to like 360 episodes in total. And there's all sorts of great content in there. Then you can just take a look at that. If you are watching, please come and say hello. Put your name in the box as well so I know who you are and what you're going to talk about. And so let's get on to dealing with deal sourcing, property sourcing and that kind of thing. Obviously today, I don't know if you know, but today you can now go and do viewings. That's been released as we've been in lockdown. So from today onwards, you can do viewings and you can line them up. We've been doing virtual viewings, which is easier said than done sometimes. And we've been sending people videos and that kind of thing. But also today, we're closing on one of our property sourcing deals, which is really cool. That's through the lettings and investment agency that we jointly own now. And we've got a deal going through there with some commission going through, which is always nice. And then also in addition to that, we've got £1 million worth of property going through, and that should drop, it should close rather this month. It's the 13th, I think it is, of May today. So that really should close this month as well. So we've been working very hard, not just in terms of finding deals and sourcing investors to buy those deals, but we've been looking for letting agencies to acquire. And that's been very, very busy. Lockdown's done very well for us, it seems. And I'm suffering a little bit with survivor guilt because we're doing okay. Rents are all coming in. We've got 2 empty properties, which have been empty for probably a week or maybe 10 days, something like that. And it was very, very slow. And then suddenly today, a whole bunch of leads came in. We're going to have to put the prices back up on those rental properties. We did actually drop them down a little bit just to make sure that we were getting leads coming in, which didn't really happen. And then obviously today we've got loads of leads coming through, and we're going to end up renting it lower. Anyway, it's fine. We'd rather get the rent in and make sure we don't need to get top dollar price on it. We just got to make sure that £600,000 worth of property across 2 properties are actually tenanted. That's the bigger concern of ours, and we'll get that done hopefully in the next couple of hours because we've got viewings today. But in terms of buying properties and sourcing deals, what are you doing right now while we're in lockdown? Like, I know that some people are kind of sit back and they're chilling and they've got Netflix and we're watching Star Wars on Disney, me too. But I don't think now is the time to sit back, because I think that other people are taking advantage of this situation. And there's that saying, never waste a good recession, never waste a good pandemic, never waste a good lockdown. And obviously, you know, some people are very ill, some people have lost their lives, but I don't think now is the time. You might also be furloughed, by the way, which is great. You sat at home watching Netflix while you're furloughed in a job that most people hate. Like, that used to be me 20 years ago. And, you know, we started off by sourcing deals, sourcing properties, and we had to go out and find these deals that we could buy ourselves so that we knew in 20 years' time would be at the villa, which is exactly where we are now. In fact, my swimming pool is looking very blue these days, thank goodness. It's taken a lot of work for us to get there. We're still not there with it. I'm still, you know, one thing I'm not very good at is swimming pool maintenance. That's why I'm a pool guy, but you can't come while in lockdown. But right now, you should be thinking about how are you going to package deals, how are you going to find investors, how are you going to find deals to package in the first place, and what are you going to do about that? And so there's a couple of things that you could be doing right now. The first thing is you should be putting content out on Gumtree and other online classified ads. You should be going into forums and letting people know that you're ready to buy deals, or you've got people who are ready to buy deals, so that then you start to generate some leads and some interest. Because remember, there's 2 parts of packaging. This part over here is finding deals, okay? When you've got the deal, then you, in the middle, need to package it up and sell it to investors. So right now, what you're doing to speak to people who've got potential deals. Now, you could be running Facebook ads. I saw a very good Facebook ad being ran by a chap for rent-to-rent and lease options that he claims to be working very well. But actually, his advert looks like it does work very well as well. We might just copy that a little bit and see how that works for us. But not that we want lease options and rent-to-rent, but it's worth a look. On the other hand, you should also be building up content online for your investors. These are your investors right here. So that when you have a deal and you package it up, you can send it out to your investors. And this could be, people are watching this on silent, by the way, wondering why I'm waving. This could be sending the deals out via email, but if you haven't got people on your email list, what's the point? So it could be simply, hey guys, I'm building an email list of investors. Why don't you join it? And when I've got a deal, you'll get first crack at it. Like really simple stuff like that. For me, that's so obvious to do. And yet people don't do it. They're not building up email lists. And, you know, I go to people, what's your email list like? I mean, I don't have one. I just store it all on a spreadsheet. And it's like, well, get it imported, start warming up that list. Because if you don't keep the email list warm, let's say that it takes you 6 months to find your first deal, and then you send that deal out to your email list, people are going to unsubscribe, or they're not going to open it. They have no idea who you are. But if once every 3 weeks you've been sending out, so what's that, 26 emails in total, they then know who you are, know that you're trustworthy. Some people will like you, they'll know who you are. You built trust and honesty and authenticity and all that extra stuff. That's what you should have been doing. And yet most people are chilling and watching Netflix and Star Wars and Disney. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. Your first rule right now is to survive while we're in lockdown. I totally get that. Your first rule, first and foremost, is not to go mad, not to go insane, not to fall out with your partner, not to get upset with your kids. That is like the first and foremost in this lockdown right now. However, if you're doing that and you're doing that successfully, then you can step up to the next level, which should be, where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? And if you don't want to go back to the job that you might be furloughed from, or you're having to work from home, or I know one guy and he's working from home and he's on like 20% of his salary. Everyone else is furloughed at 80%, and because he's one of the bosses, he's got to stay at home working and he's on 20% of his wage. It's ridiculous. So this is about you creating options while we're in lockdown. You know, for me, that's what financial freedom is all about. Financial freedom can look like all sorts for all sorts of different people. It can be yachts, or it can be Lamborghinis, or it can be just wake up and decide what you want to do. Buy a letting agency this week, or go do something else next week, or whatever. That's what being financially free allows you to do. But there's no point in being financially free unless you've got the time freedom that actually goes with it. I know people are I'm financially free, I'm retired. What do? I work in my business 60 hours a week. Well, that's not financially free, is it? You've just swapped one job for a different job, and now you've got an even worse boss than you had before, because you, in other words, that's not financial freedom. You've got to gain time freedom so that you can decide what you want to do. We're in a very fortunate position that when I wake up on a morning, it's Wednesday today, I think, so when I wake up on a morning, I can pick and choose what I want to do. Sure, I've got some things that I really need to get done because I want to grow the business and expand this and buy more letting agents and do this and do, we've got a construction company that's going through right now, which might close in May or June, hopefully. We need to find the next one and the next one and the next one. They're the things that gets me excited and gets me out of bed, and they're the things I want to do. It's not really a job as such. Or I could just stay in bed and do nothing, but it's my choice. And that's what I think financial freedom is. And really, that's what I think most people want. I don't think most people want to have to get up, get in a car or public transport, go to work, do work, spend time with people you don't like sometimes. Sometimes you do get to like them, obviously. And then come home, an hour with the kids before we go to bed, and you do that 5 days a week. Like, I really struggle with that now. I've been out of this for 20 years. Is it 20 years? I left when I was 30. I'm 47 now, so about 17 and a half years, 18 years. In fact, it's 20 years in May. Is it 21? 18 years in May since I was 29. I left Dell in May of that year, whatever that was, 18 years ago. Yeah, so there you go. I don't know, 18 years. That's what I wanted in my life. I didn't want to have to wake up and go to work with a crappy boss who was working me 60 hours a week, pulling my hair out, nearly dying on car accidents. This was about, what do I want to do? And I started buying into property, and we started buying properties below market value, doing them up and refinancing them, or doing them up and selling them. And so we'd buy 3 and keep 2, or buy 3 and keep 1, or buy 3 and keep all of them, or buy 3 and sell all of them. Whatever it happened to be, depending on where we were and what the deal was and what the market was doing and where it was and the discount on the deal and how much work we have to do on it and so on and so forth. We've had properties that we've bought 25% below market value, and you'd walk in and there's dog crap all over the floor. There's kids playing on it, by the way. That's the level of property. And those properties weren't selling to anyone. So we'd buy 25%, we'd pull up all the carpets, we'd paint everything, new carpets, new curtains, bang some furniture in there. And not only would we get the 25% discount because of the state that it was in, we'd also get a 5 or 10% uplift because of the work we'd done to it. Brilliant. Now we're making 30 to 35% on that property. And we're able to do that because it was in such a state. In other words, it was the worst property on the best street, although some of the streets were a little bit dodgy as well, actually. But it was the worst property on a bad street then. But it gave us an opportunity to add value. And so that's really how we started up doing this. We found deals that were below market value. Some of these deals, by the way, came from estate agents. And I see in forums, sometimes I log onto forums because it motivates me seeing all these negative ninnies going on about, you can't buy discounted property anymore, and all these property sources getting deals off Rightmove. That's not sourcing. Are you kidding me? My best ever deal from an estate agent was on at 175, I think it was. We put an offer in for 140, and we completed that. The estate agent in Leeds said we were taking the piss putting in such a low offer, and we completed for 141,500. So from 175, I think, 170, 175, we dropped 30 grand down. Okay, we got that deal on Rightmove. We filled in our details. It went to the estate agent. They called us up. We knew the estate agent anyway. They knew us. They knew what we were like. We spoke to them on a regular basis. And when people go, you can't buy deals from estate agents, BMV, packaging deals, that's, I could find that deal. You could. That property was on the market 18 months. 18 months it was on the market for. Not a single person bought it. We went in, we bought it for 30 grand off. It was on Rightmove, and all these people going, you can't find deals on Rightmove and package them up and sell them. Of course you can. It's crazy. It's like saying going to a jumble sale, or a better one would be going to an art shop or an old antique shop, and you finding a Picasso or a Van Gogh, and people go, well, anyone could do that. Yeah, anyone could, but nobody did, except me. And it wasn't a Van Gogh, but I got 30 grand off a deal. So these people say, no, that's not property sourcing. Well, what is property sourcing? First of all, should I put on my... First of all, you got to drop 50,000 leaflets, and then you got to negotiate for 17 months to get a discount. What a load of crap. Who said? Who the hell said? People on a forum who've done all with their lives, who've never done a deal before, they say, great, thanks for that. Well, you keep doing that, and in the meantime, we'll keep going off and buying these deals, sourcing these deals for our clients. Awesome. You leave all the good stuff for us because you go drop your 50,000 leaflets. Now, don't get me wrong, dropping leaflets, I'm up for that. Well up for dropping. We've got 20,000 leaflets lined up, actually, to go drop in a particular suburb of which shall remain nameless. But we've got 20,000 leaflets lined up, but we're going to line up once lockdown is finished to go and drop. We've got investors lined up to sell deals. We've run out of deals. Got a couple. That's it. You can do this. Anybody can do this. And then again, on another part of the forum, we were talking about getting deals from beginners and newbies. And we were putting newbies down. And I'm like, if you've got a house that's worth 170 and you can get it for 140, who gives a crap where the deal comes from? Yeah, but for a newbie. And I don't care if they come from Planet Zog. Why would I mind if we're a newbie? Well, if I don't have any experience. What's that got to do with anything? I've got 170 grand property and 140 grand. Well, how do you know it's worth 170? Because I do this thing called due diligence. You might have heard of it. Well, yeah, still a beginner. Who cares? Do we not let beginner drivers on the roads? Is that not what we do? I've seen people, driving behind learners, honking the horns. They're beginners with rail plates on. It's like, you're an idiot. What are you doing? Everybody has to start from somewhere. And if you're a beginner, great. That's awesome. In 10 years' time, you will no longer be a beginner. In 5 years' time, you won't be a beginner. In 3 years' time, you won't be a beginner. In 6 months' time, you'll be further on from a beginner, hopefully. You might have had a couple of deals that have either gone through, a couple of deals that have fallen through. You might have some deals going on. You don't know what to do with them. That's totally fine. That's not a problem at all. You're in the game. Well done. got to get in the game. And most people reading forums to be motivated. By the way, let me just put that as a complete oxymoron. You do not read forums to get motivated. I've been on those forums, know-it-alls. They've got more time just to sit there going, oh, no, you don't do it like that. You keep doing that, sitting on your little forum and telling other people what they should and shouldn't be doing. We're out closing deals. That's the name of the game. Or we're out failing deals. Great. That's the name of the game. You've got to get in it to win it. And if you're not out there putting stuff out, speaking to people, putting content out, building your reputation, all this stuff, where are you going to get? Where are you going to be in 5 years? There's another lockdown coming, just so you know. There will be another lockdown in 6 months' time. Guarantee it. Touch wood. Find wood. Speakers, touch wood. There we go. Found some wood. You are going to be in lockdown in 6 months' time. There's a second wave coming. We know it, right? Great. What do you need in order to perform whilst that second wave is coming? You need to start planning. You need to get resources. You need to work out where you're going to go, what you need to happen. You need to start doing all of that. You need to stop listening to everyone else and start thinking about, if there is a second wave, this is what I want to happen. If there isn't a second wave, nobody knows for sure. I expect there will be, and there'll be an extension of lockdowns and so on. We release it, it has to go back on, it gets released, it has to go back on. That's going to happen a couple of times, I think, the next year and a half, 2 years maybe. But I mean, I don't know. I've not got a crystal ball. But if it does, I want to be in a position that I'm ready to perform whatever I decide needs to be performed if we go into lockdown. And if we don't go into lockdown, awesome, I don't have to even worry about it. But I'm prepared for the worst and I'm hoping for the best. That's the strategy, okay? But you can only do that if you are prepared, you've got your strategy in place. We saw the lockdown coming 3 weeks before we got locked down. So we stocked up on everything. And we bought the extra bits. There's a couple of things that we missed. A spare camera for a USB. Wife is teaching right now on my USB camera. God damn it, need to get that back. Still no stocks of USB cameras here in Spain. Really struggling. Luckily, we got one on the laptop. Bought myself a nice camera. And so on, okay? But the USB cameras, they're gone. That was a lack of resource on my part. That was it, you know? Everything else, we covered it off. We knew what was coming and we planned for it, even to the extent that we bought a couple of bags of dog food, so we were good for a couple of months. And we're just running low, just bought some more yesterday, and that'll be here in the next couple of days. But if it does come, you want to be in a position where all your leaflets are already dropped. Now you're just dealing with phone calls, packaging up the deals, and finding investors with which to do these on. You're getting a whole list of connections lined up with potential meetings once this thing is locked down and it's safe to have meetings. You don't even need to do meetings anymore. Like, I was on a call yesterday. We talked about mindset in property sourcing and just mindset overall. And we did that. We had quite a lot of people watching. That'll go into a podcast, both on mine and on theirs. But we're creating content. We're building trust, honesty, authenticity. People get to know us, build reputation, etc. We're doing that in lockdown. If you're not doing that right now, what are you doing? You need to start building that stuff up so that when lockdown is lifted, people already know who you are and you can hit the ground running. If that's dropping 50,000 leaflets or placing content on Gumtree, then fine. Whatever that is whatever that is. That's great. But we know that this is potentially coming. We haven't got any comments, by the way. If you've got anything to say, we have people dipping in and out of this one. But if you've got anything that you want to cover, I'm just going to grab a quick drink of water. Stick them in the comments. You can disagree. That's all right. Let's just talk about disagreeing for a second. I think this is also important as well. So I've really kind of come off Facebook a lot. And when I say I come off it, it's one-way traffic. I post onto Facebook and don't really read what other people post anymore. And the reason is, you know, I see people going, oh, Boris has done a good job. And I completely disagree. I think Boris has done a dreadful job. He's liable for murdering people. That's what I believe, okay? And so it winds me up seeing people go, oh, good old Bojo. Miraculously recovered from COVID after 7 days. That's just a miracle. It's a miracle. So it annoys me, okay? And I find the best way of not being annoyed is simply not going on it. and it being more one-way traffic. And also from that, my efficiency has increased in the amount of work that's gone out. My level of success has actually increased during COVID-19 because I'm off social media a lot. And it's totally okay to disagree. But this is one thing I found very difficult is I do not engage with the people that I disagree with. Because if I do, they then disagree back. And it's like anything. You've never changed someone's opinion by having a different opinion, have you, on Facebook? And so all that happens is you have 10 people, and now you're on 10 different conversations, disagreeing with something you've got zero control over. It doesn't matter if Boris is the Messiah or if he's the devil. It just doesn't matter. It's got nothing to do with me. I can't change either. I can't do anything about Trump, Kim Jong-un. I can't do anything about anything at all. The only thing that I'm responsible for is my content, the stuff that I put out, and not engaging in all these conversations that are going to waste all my time. In lockdown, we've acquired a 50% stake in a lettings agency. Pretty much most of our properties are rented out. We've got one that's empty. We've got two technically because one person's had to go, but still paying rent. We've got a £2 million revenue business that we're buying. And we're doing all right. The digital marketing agency contracted, and now it's expanding again. And actually, we're now looking for more team members. It's crazy. And actually, my ability to respond to people and argue with people has gone down because I'm busy doing all this other stuff. It's very, very exciting. But we've created capacity in the system because I've stopped going on and arguing with different people. It doesn't get me anywhere. It doesn't get them anywhere. You just end up being annoyed, upset, angry, frustrated, fuming, all these words. None of those words I've mentioned are positive, happy words, are they? And Boris done a great job. Well, I think he has. He hasn't. Well, I think he has. Well, I think where's that going to get you? It's not going to get you anywhere. Stop doing it. Move that focus onto what can I do to get leaflets printed? What's the design of my leaflets going to look like? Who's going to drop them once COVID lifts? People are going to need some money. And by the way, people are also going to be on furlough till October, some of them. So there's a ready-made workforce to go out and drop your leaflets, okay? You just got to have the leaflets designed, printed, ready to go out for when it lifts, then off you go. And most people start watching Netflix. So this is what it should be about. You can property source, you can package deals up all day long. But if you're not putting in the effort right at the start, and if you're not planning the effort that needs to be done, creating the leaflets and getting all that stuff ready, that's just not going to work. All right, I think that will do us for today. I hope you find that useful. Kind of went off on a little tangent there, but hope you find that useful. We're live again on Friday in the Mindset and Hustle show. Come and join me for that. And if you've got any questions, line them up for that. We're an open book. Ask whatever you want. We'll probably answer them for you. Just let us know. Other than that, we'll speak to you on Friday. Have a good week. Stay safe, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care.